All right, I just wanted to make a quick video about the Switch Mini or the Switch Lite, why this thing exists, who this thing is for, and the pros and cons of the device, because a lot of people are upset about it. Of course they are. Nintendo could have handed everybody $20 and people would still find a reason to complain. Look, it's not all good, but it's not all bad either. They have their reasons. Giant Pro right off the bat, the Switch Lite is only $200. That's $100 less than the MSRP of the current Switch model. And the Switch isn't like all those other consoles that you see that retail for $300 but sell for more like $250 or sometimes even $200. You'd have a hard time finding the Switch for less than $300. So I think this $200 price point is pretty perfect. It'll bring in new people who were turned off by the price of the original. Parents might be more inclined to buy it for their children. Children might be more inclined to buy it with their allowance money or bar mitzvah money or dice money. Maybe your kids play dice. Look, I don't know your kids. The big con and the whole reason this thing is only $200 is because you can't dock it. You can't connect it to a TV via HDMI in any way. There's no HDMI output. Yeah, I know. But if you're booing right now, you probably already have a Switch already. So what's the problem? You already have the better Switch. So, look, Nintendo has always created new versions of their current handhelds with features removed. This always brings in new audiences. It's a business strategy that works. Other features that it's missing are the HD Rumble, the IR sensors. What besides Labo uses the IR sensors? Oh yeah, and it's not compatible with Labo kits at all, but that should be pretty obvious. It's not the same size as the current Switch, so it's not gonna fit in the same Labo kits. It's not dockable, sorry. The screen is slightly smaller at 5.5 inches as opposed to 6.2 inches, and that's about it. The battery life is about a half an hour longer, and it replaces the control buttons on the left side with an actual D-pad, which is the best news I've heard so far. Obviously, the controllers are attached to the unit. You can still connect Joy-Cons via Bluetooth, but the Switch Lite does not have a kickstand, so you'll have to find your own way to prop it up. Since you can't play games docked, game cases and the eShop will now show a disclaimer telling you whether or not a game is compatible with the Nintendo Switch Lite. As far as I know, all games will be playable on the Nintendo Switch Lite. Some games might just have some features missing, like for example, Labo will have a lot of features missing. Besides Labo, the games that aren't compatible will just require an additional Joy-Con. So that includes games like Just Dance, Super Mario Party, 1-2 Switch, and Fitness Boxing. Just don't forget that you're going to need something to prop up your Switch if you're going to use an additional Joy-Con, because you're going to need to play it in tabletop mode, and it doesn't have a kickstand. But as far as I know, everything should work on the Switch Lite besides Labo. You'll just need an additional Joy-Con for some features, which isn't that big of a deal. That's just common sense if the controller is going to be attached to the unit. Bob says the Switch Lite is coming out. How is it going to work for those buying extra Joy-Cons for games like Mario Party? How will you charge Joy-Cons? That's a very good point that I'm going to need to address in my video that's going out tomorrow. You're gonna have to get yourself a charging grip. That sucks. Now, you may be asking yourself, if the Switch Lite is more or less the same as the original Switch, then why isn't it dockable? It has the same USB-C port at the bottom after all. Well, that's because it uses a more power-efficient chip layout according to Nintendo. That means that the chipset is built for power efficiency and not necessarily performance. When you dock your Switch, it's able to perform better not because there's anything significant in the dock, but because it doesn't have to worry about draining the battery. It just pulls more power from the AC adapter to get higher GPU performance. The current Switch runs at 720p in portable mode, and some games run as high as 1080p 60 in docked mode. It's possible that the chipset that the Switch Lite is using just isn't capable of better performance at all, which I hope is the case, because otherwise, Nintendo would have nerfed the specs of the Switch Lite purely for marketing reasons. Get this Switch if you want to play in portable mode, get this Switch if you want to play in docked mode. It's a lot easier for people to digest. If marketing is the only reason that you can't dock your Switch Lite, people will be very upset, and you bet your ass there will be a lot of nasty articles written about it when it finally comes out. It's rumored that Nintendo is going to quietly roll out a slight performance bump in the original Switch model because of FCC filings that they made recently. Hopefully, this will further separate the two models. It's also possible that they're updating the current Switch model to use the same chipset as the Switch Lite, which might make people a little upset. They both have the same internals, then why can't they do the same things? Maybe some components will still be missing, which will justify the price. My point is, let's not shit on this thing just yet until Spawn Wave rips it apart. If it's an underpowered chipset, that'll explain why Nintendo doesn't want it to be docked. It'd be a bad look to have a 720p home console right now in 2019. Plus, not having a dock saves money. You can buy a dockless Switch in Japan right now for $50 cheaper. I'm gonna buy a Switch Lite for myself because first of all, it's my job. I need to check it out and make a video out of it. But second of all, I would love to have a smaller Switch that I can leave in my bag. A portable only version in a more compact form factor sounds awesome. The current one will just stay docked forever. The only problem with that is that right now it's a massive pain in the ass to transfer all of your stuff between two Switches. Some games don't support cloud saves. Pokemon Sword and Shield and Animal Crossing are confirmed to not support cloud saves. Even if a game did support cloud saves, you'd have to manually download that cloud save when you want to use it. Also, if you have your account on multiple Switches, your secondary Switch will require an internet connection in order to verify that you own your downloaded games. This will be a problem if your secondary Switch is a portable one. You might want to make your home Switch your secondary one. Hopefully none of this will be an issue by the time the Switch Lite launches. Doug Bowser claims, yes, you will have the ability to transfer between devices, your gameplay experiences. More to come on there, but that is the intention. Hopefully he means seamlessly and not using the garbage transfer tool. I'm sure however they decide to do it, it'll be in their own unique Nintendo way. So I have little faith that it'll be completely seamless. But this is how I intend to use my Switch Lite, so hopefully they figure it out in a way that's not gonna make me rip my hair out. I'm getting flashbacks on what I did with my 3DS, how I transferred my stuff there. The Switch Lite is for new Switch owners. It's not for the power user. It's for people who maybe don't own a TV, maybe families who only have one TV and don't want to cut into each other's TV time. It's perfect for families with multiple kids. I know plenty of adults who only play their Switch in portable mode right now. Those people probably could have benefited from a Switch Lite at launch. I'm confident that there's a market for this already. And if you think it's stupid, then guess what? You don't have to buy it. Not everything's for you. Oh, that mic tastes terrible. And if you're holding out for a Switch Pro, don't hold your breath. The Nintendo ain't like that. At most, you'll get a new Nintendo Switch with slight cosmetic differences, and that's about it. Get that 4K bullshit out of my face. If this new Nintendo Switch even ever does happen, it'll be different than the stealth update I was talking about earlier, and it probably won't roll out until next year. So don't let that stop you. If you've been waiting for this news to buy a Switch, well, now you know. If you want to play in portable mode, maybe wait until September 20th. But if you want to ever play in docked mode at all, then buy a Switch right now. There's no reason to wait. They ain't dropping that price anytime soon. So what do you guys think about this new Nintendo Switch Lite? Is this something that you wanted in a Switch iteration? Do you even care at all? Are you just going to keep playing your current Switch? Or are you going to upgrade to this new one? Or are you going to have two side by side like me? Are you that much of an asshole? Leave it in the comments below. Add me on Twitter, any and all of this other social media garbage. If you want to hear more talk about the Switch Lite, which I'm sure you don't because there's already so many videos about it, I'm a little late on it, but we have our podcast, which you do every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time here on YouTube. You can watch our lengthy discussion about the Switch Lite the day it launched. There's a lot more there than there was here. But I knew if my next upload to this channel was not about the Switch Lite, all of the comments would be asking me to talk about the Switch Lite, so I had to do it. Anyway, we got new videos and live streams all the time. Our schedule is at a pinned tweet over on our Twitter. Go over to twitch.tv/wolfden because I'm probably stroking out. I'm probably playing Mario Maker over there. So go watch that. You can support us here on YouTube. We're over on Twitch. Link it to your Discord account. You can get into our support-only Discord where you get videos like this early. You get private chat time with us, and you get to play multiplayer games with us once a month. But the most important thing that you can do is just subscribe to the channel and share this video with a friend. A friend who maybe has been holding out to buy a Switch. Or maybe is just that much of a Nintendo enthusiast and just wants to blow some money. Thank you guys very much. You have yourself a very good week. Mwah.